let's take a look at 26-year-old Alexis Sharkey's case. We're still waiting on the toxicology reports and her cause of death, so we've not really received any updates from law enforcement as to what happened to her. But of course, there's so many rumors swirling online, whether, it be Tom, her husband, or her friend Tanya. I've seen so many rumors and speculation, theories. So let's start at the beginning. Let's look at what we do know. And I also found some information just a little bit ago. And you know how Tom was saying that they were not talking about divorce, but yet his friends, Alexis's friends were saying, oh, well, that's not what Alexis said. So I found some information that is allegedly from Tom himself on Instagram. So I'm going to show you a message that, again, allegedly it's a Instagram message that Tom sent to Alexis. And then before that, I'm going to show you an interview that her friend Tanya did with one of the news stations. But again, let's have a look at what we do know. Alexis Sharkey went missing on Friday, November 27th, the day after Thanksgiving. Her unclothed body was found on the side of the road, approximately 8 miles from her apartment that she shared with her 49-year-old husband, Tom Sharkey. Her body was found by a public works employee. He said he thought it was a mannequin at first. He, saw the feet sticking out, and it looked like somebody had just delicately placed her body there. Now, Alexis and her husband Tom moved to Texas earlier this year. She worked for Moen, or I think it's called Moen. I've actually heard quite a few different pronunciations of it, but it's a skin and a hair care company. And although her mom states that Alexis would have never wanted to be called a social media influencer, Alexis did have a decent following of about 25,000 followers on Instagram at her time of death. Alexis's mom says she believes that Alexis was murdered. Alexis's friends have said Alexis told them that she and Tom were separating and the divorce papers were unsigned in their shared apartment. Alexis and Tom were married less than a year. They married in December, I think it was December 20th of 2019. Her friend, Alexis's friend Tanya, says that Alexis and Tom lived on the first floor. And I know there were a lot of things online swirling, just rumors that her and Tom lived on the third floor. So how could she have jumped the balcony? But Tanya did confirm that they live on the first floor. Her husband Tom said he wouldn't give the Jeep keys to Alexis that evening. I guess that the friends had seen her because she had been drinking and Alexis got into a car with someone and left. So at first, I heard, there was no argument, and then, there was an argument. But I do recall her husband saying that he wouldn't give her the keys. So apparently there was an argument at some time. There's still no cause of death. Let me back up. Alexis's friend Tanya, she's the one that filed the police report, not Tom. And as I said earlier, still no cause of death. Still waiting on the toxicology reports to come out. All we do know is there were no visible signs of trauma on Alexis's body when she was found. And here's her friend Tanya in an interview she done with KHOU. So let's have a listen.
We're like, okay, well, when was the last time you talked to her? When was the last time you talked to her? And they all said around 6 p.m. Friday.
And what was that conversation about, the last text message you sent her?
The last conversation I had with her, she was asking me what I was doing Friday night. And I said, well, my mom's in town from Mexico, so I'm going to stay home with her. And then we said, okay, love you, whatever, and that was it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. My mind doesn't even go anywhere. I still feel like she's here. You know, I don't know who could have done something like this to her. We were her friends. She wasn't one to have a lot of group of friends. If she needed something, if she needed someone to come pick her up or take her somewhere, or if she was going to get in the car and go somewhere, it would have been to my house or the 7 other girls that she was close with.
And none of you all are within walking distance to her?
No.
So she would have, you really do believe she would have called you and said, come pick me up?
She would have called us or taken an Uber or something. I mean, she wouldn't have walked anywhere. No.
What can you, because you can't even wrap your mind around this, right? Like, what a 48 hours from Thanksgiving to Saturday. Can you even imagine who would have done this to her? Like, do you have a message to that person? They clearly tried to hide her body, and they disrespected her. I mean, just all of it, so much. What do you say to that?
Whoever did this we're going to find them. We're going to do everything it takes so everyone can put her to rest in peace and where we can get answers and just move forward. But no one gets away with something like this. No one. I mean, just threw her on the side of the road naked like garbage. I don't get it. So ugly.
It is, right? It's kind of the worst. It is like garbage. I hadn't thought about it, but that's what it, right? And
yep.
And 8 miles from where she was last seen, and I'm trying to like piece all the information together, and it just didn't seem to add up, especially hearing that she was among friends on Thanksgiving, like the day before, and making plans for that weekend.
Yeah, and like I said, it's very unlike her to not follow through with plans. It's very unlike her to not reach out when someone texts her. When we say something, we're doing something, she does it. She doesn't go back on her word at all. And she actually lives about 3 minutes away where her body was found.
I saw that, just 8 miles, just down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And is she ever like, is it like her to not have her cell phone with her? Or
no.
Any of the, like, have you talked to the, like, oh my gosh, this was not there, this is not there, this was...
No, she is attached to her phone. She is a social media queen. She's an influencer. She works from her phone. Like I said, if I was in trouble, she would be the first person I would call. And we called and called and called and called, and her phone was on, and her messages were being sent, but not being read because she had her read receipts on. And then until yesterday is when her phone was shut off by whoever has it. Or, you know, maybe it was thrown somewhere and it finally died. But, I mean, when we realized that her social media was not active for over 12 hours, you're like, okay, this is not right. Yeah, this is not right.
And were you in communication at all with her mom? I know they're out of state. They're trying to file these reports. I didn't know if, you know, sometimes moms reach out to the girlfriends, you know, because they just know how close we all are to each other.
Right. I gave it a little bit of time. I called her mom because I was the one that I went to her apartment, knocked on her door, you know, I did all that because I lived the closest. And so after a while I was contemplating, should I call her mom? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to worry her because she's far, far away.
Right.
And finally, after a while of just sitting in my car outside of her apartment, I said, I have to call her because I'm a mom. I would want to know.
So you notified the mom?
Yes.
And then she got all the balls rolling.
All right, and so Tanya says she notified Alexis's mom, but I also, and I think I showed a clip just a minute ago where Alexis's mom said that Tom notified her, so I really don't know who notified Alexis's mom that she was missing, but nonetheless, it was either Tanya or Tom that notified her mom of her missing. And let's take a look at the information that I've seen or that I saw earlier in regards to Tom. And like I said, you guys may have heard it too if you're online and in some of the groups, but it appears to be a message from Tom to Alexis speaking about the divorce. And so, and this right here is just Tanya defending herself, because a lot of people were coming to her. Like I told you guys earlier, there's just a lot of blame being put on not only Tom, the husband, excuse me, but on Tanya, her best friend, as well.
Stops. He'd be out to investigate.
So we looking, and
actually, here's a quick interview of the worker that found Alexis's body, and then I'll show you the screenshot of the message from Tom to Alexis.
we see feet, you know what I mean? Like half the feet was in the road.
Richardson and a co-worker unknowingly stumbled upon the body of Instagram sensation 26-year-old Alexis Sharkey.
Man, I'm just devastated, because I'm like, I'm looking at a human being actually, laying there dead, and it kind of, shook me up a little bit, because, I'm actually looking at somebody that's deceased, and we can't help her.
Richardson described the disturbing find as bizarre. He said there were no clothes, no visible wounds on Sharkey's body. He says it looked like she'd been delicately placed along the desolate road, as if someone laid her there.
We just stunned, and I'm looking, but there wasn't no visible wounds. It's like she just got out the tub. Her body was clean. It wasn't, nothing on her body. Her body was clean.
Richardson, like Alexis Sharkey's loved ones, say they continue to wait for an update on the case, wondering what happened here in late November.
It's just a mystery at this moment, and I hope they find out who did it and bring.
All right, and here's the message that appears to be from Tom, and it looks like it's maybe his Instagram page, but Tom says, since you are 100% social media, not ever living in the moment, I feel it's fitting and you will embrace the social media swarm. I'm filing for divorce. You need way more than I am, and I feel inadequate to fill your expectations. You are a selfish individual, and I'm sorry I'm not the same as you. It will be okay. You will persevere. You need what is going to happen. I'll be moved out before you get home. I wish you well, and you will do great. I will always love you and will only wish you the best. Keep on social media on. Your ex-husband. And then it appears Alexis replies, this is because I'm posting on my story. We literally came here to be creative and take pics. I'm on a girl's creative getaway, and you view this as a problem. So I find that very interesting, that Tom is saying, oh no, we weren't going through or a separation. We were not going to file a divorce, but yet this appears. And I know things can get photoshopped and, people can put this out. So it'll be interesting to see if, this is in fact Tom's message, but I don't know if, maybe Alexis had screenshot it and sent it to one of her friends and it's just now being made public. Honestly, I don't know, but nonetheless, very interesting. But let me know what you guys think about this case. Oh, and here's a timeline, and it's very difficult to read for me anyway, but Tanya, her best friend, has made a timeline if you guys want to skim through it and just pause if you need to. But what do you guys think as far as who's responsible? Who done this? What happened to Alexis? Do you guys feel Tom is involved? Honestly, I'm kind of split. I think a lot points to Tom at this point, but until I, see some solid proof, I don't want to blame someone that could be innocent, but, it's not looking good for him.